for joining us on Delta Television News tonight. My name is Onome Iyarowe. You can follow our news online on Facebook and YouTube at Delta Broadcasting Service Asaba or visit our website www.dbsasaba.com. Now the news. The federal government has warned Nigerians living in South Africa to remain cautious following renewed anti-foreigner protests. The Nigerian Consulate General in Johannesburg said demonstrations in Cape Town, Durban, and parts of KwaZulu-Natal turned violent with reports of injuries and looting. The consulate advised Nigerians to avoid protests and monitor developments, especially ahead of planned demonstrations in Gauteng province. It urged business owners to take precautionary measures, including observing the Freedom Day holiday on April 27 and considering temporary closure of shops. The mission reassured citizens of support, noting ongoing engagement with authorities. The Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of the Delta State Oil Producing Areas Development Commission, the SOPADEC, Chief Festus Ochonogo, has reaffirmed the Commission's commitment to sustainable development and stakeholder engagement. He made a remark when he played host to members of the Ndukwane Coal Union, led by its President General, Chief Amechi Asoguni, at the Commission's headquarters, with the visit described as a step towards strengthening collaboration. Chief Ochonogo said the engagement will deepen institutional ties and support ongoing development initiatives across all oil-bearing communities, emphasizing that the SOPADEC remained focused on delivering projects that improve the living standards of the people. Earlier, Chief Amechi Asoguni said the visit was aimed at promoting synergy with stakeholders, commending the Commission's contributions to the development of Ndukwa communities. Believers have been encouraged to remain steadfast in faith, trusting that life's challenges are part of God's process to strengthen them. The vicar of St. Luke's Anglican Church, Asaba, Reverend Wilfred Idegu, gave the admonition in his message at the church service today. Gloria Otolo completes the report.
In his sermon titled Replace Worry and Complaints with Prayer, Reverend Idegu said nothing was beyond God's ability, urging Christians to remain focused on Him at all times. He stressed that, with Christ on their side, no opposition could stand against them, describing life's challenges as tests of faith and purpose.
For the battle is not yours, but God's. I don't know that battle you are fighting. I don't know that you are fighting against you. It may be forces in your family, ancestral spirit, ancestral powers.
The cleric encouraged believers to stay rooted in God, remain fearless, and engage in activities that promoted spiritual growth. He pointed out that setbacks should be seen as stepping stones, assuring all that with God, no challenge could prevail.
Today, as you are going to dance and praise God today, all your enemies, all the forces are defeated.
The service featured special renditions by the choir. Gloria Otolo reporting.
The Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors, NARD, has suspended its planned nationwide strike following fresh commitments by the federal government. NARD, in a statement, said the decision was taken at an emergency National Executive Council meeting after reviewing government's interventions, including reinstatement of professional allowance table. The statement said it had received assurances that the allowance would be implemented with April salaries and all arrears settled, also citing progress on the 2026 Medical Residency Training Fund and plans to clear about 19 months of unpaid allowances. The doctors, however, raised concern over delays in house officer salaries, warning that failure to sustain agreements could lead to further action. The Police Service Commission has reiterated that recruitment into the Nigerian police force is free, warning applicants against scams and job racketeers. The Commission, in a statement, stressed that no candidate was required to pay money at any stage of the process. He said the written examination for constable recruitment will hold from April 28 to 30 across centers in the 36 states of the country and the Federal Capital Territory for candidates who passed earlier screening. In food and nutrition, we take a look at a widely consumed fruit valued for its rich flavor, vibrant color, and impressive health benefits, and that's the tomatoes. Favor Okafor has details.
Scientifically known as Solanum lycopodium, tomatoes are one of the most popular ingredients in kitchens around the world. Though commonly used as a vegetable in cooking, they are botanically classified as fruits. They are believed to have originated from South America but are now widely cultivated around the world, making them a staple in soups, stews, sauces, and salads. Tomatoes can be eaten fresh, cooked, or processed into products such as paste, juice, ketchup, and puree. In Nigerian cuisine, they are essential in preparing dishes like jollof rice, stew, and a variety of local soups. Nutritionally, tomatoes are low in calories but rich in essential vitamins and minerals. They are an excellent source of vitamin C, which helps boost the immune system, supports skin health, and aids wound healing. They also contain vitamin A for good vision, vitamin K for blood clotting and bone health, and potassium, which helps regulate blood pressure and supports heart function. One of the most important compounds in tomatoes is lycopene, a powerful antioxidant responsible for their red color. Lycopene has been linked to a reduced risk of certain chronic diseases, including heart disease and some types of cancer. Regular consumption of tomatoes may support heart health by helping to lower cholesterol levels and improve blood vessel function. Their high water content aids hydration, while dietary fiber supports digestion and gut health. Cooking tomatoes, especially with a small amount of oil, can increase the body's ability to absorb lycopene, making tomato-based dishes both tasty and nutritious. Health experts, however, advise moderation as excessive consumption may cause acidity in some individuals, particularly those prone to acid reflux.
No, a woman cannot do without tomato in her kitchen. And secondly, you can use tomato to prepare different delicacies. As for me, I can use tomato for stew, and secondly, for a greasy soup. Very, very delicious.
It's like an ingredient that is a part of every dish. So, except maybe you don't just want to make that particular dish, but tomato is like a major ingredient. Aside your salt and your Maggi, tomato is a major ingredient.
Incorporating tomatoes into daily meals, whether fresh or cooked, remains a simple and affordable way to enhance both flavor and nutritional value. Favor Okafor reporting.
On the economy, yam prices have risen across markets in the country compared with the same last year. At some markets visited by our news crew, traders attributed the increase to high transportation costs, seasonal supply challenges, and sourcing difficulties. On their parts, customers said transportation costs influenced buying discussions or decisions, with some opting for nearby markets while others preferred larger markets for relatively low prices. Tubers, which sold for between 1,200 naira and 2,000 naira last year, now range from 2,500 naira to 3,500, depending on the size and quality. Christians have been enjoined to take comfort in the hope of resurrection and live their lives of lasting impact. A cleric, Brother Good News Dick, gave the exhortation in a sermon at the funeral service of Parsecute Agboko, held at the Kingdom Hall of Jehovah's Witnesses in Afisiri, Ugili North local government area. Franklin Igrigri has details.
Citing Genesis chapter 23 verse 2, Brother Dick said mourning the dead was both natural and scriptural, noting that Abraham mourned his wife Sarah, which underscores grief as normal human response to loss. He explained that God did not delight in death, describing it as a consequence of man's disobedience rather than part of divine creation. Quoting Revelation chapter 21 verse 3 and 4, the cleric reassured the congregation of the hope of resurrection, stressing that the dead will rise again and urging all faithful to be comforted with that hope.
All hope is not lost. Jehovah God, as the God of justice, wisdom, and love, realized that death that was not part of his original purpose cannot thwart his purpose. So he promised to do something about our greatest enemy, that is called death. The Bible gives hope that millions who have died will live again.
The body was later laid to rest at the family residence in Afisiri, where family and friends described the deceased as a calm, loving, and disciplined father who instilled moral values in his children and all who came in contact with him.
My father, when he was alive, was a loving father. That's why he called himself Mama and Papa. That is playing the role of a father and the role of a mother. So it's going to be a very big loss to us, the children, because anytime we're in need, anytime we're happy.
A lovely father, a man that has love for all his children. Brothers of humility. He was a great man.
A strong man. A man that's sadly shaken. No matter how tough he finds any situation he's into, he believes he's going to come out. He tells him, don't worry, it's part of life. We're going to pass through this. And truly with time, we feel that everybody will just come out.
He's a man that always remembers his children. And every year he likes calling them to know their ways.
And for a man like that to have trained a daughter as Charity, it means a lot. It tells a lot about who he was. It's obvious he was a strict disciplinarian, a lover of Christ, and he stood for the truth at all times.
It's very important that children, the entire family, should emulate the good part of their father, especially his dedication to the things of God.
The funeral activities drew staff of Delta Broadcasting Service Asaba in solidarity with one of their own, Charity Agboko. Late Parsecute Agboko, aged 75, is survived by his children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren, among other relatives. Franklin Igrigri reporting.
Well, that's our news. Next is the thought. Learn from yesterday, act today towards a better tomorrow. That's our bulletin for tonight. Thank you for watching. On behalf of the news editor and production team, this is Onome Iyarowe. Thanking you for watching. Do have a good night rest and a beautiful week ahead.